Record button. All right, and it looks like we are recording. All right, so now I'm going to go back into the questions. And yes, just a couple more, not questions, but fix this up a little bit so I can make it a little easier. All right, there we go. So let's start off by asking is this going? If not, it's okay. What was the chain of command like? Well, actually, let's first narrow down. Is there like a certain work experience you think you want to talk about that would fit well within the frame of just the theme is managing and leading business organizations?
Well, first of all, the one that's closest to me is right now is the RD position,
That'd be
right?
perfect.
And
Yeah.
then, but the parish work would be another one. But
It's okay if we do RD, if
yeah,
that's all
yeah,
right with
okay.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the chain of command is very simple. There's Sam is the vice president, whatever her title is, and you can look that up. But I report to her. And that's a simple chain of command.
Mhm.
Uh, and my RAs, um, well, we work as a team, but they report to me. I'm responsible for them.
Mm.
And although there's another RD on the first floor, because the structure that I've set up for Flinders Hall, we work as a team. And because I'm the oldest and been here the longest, the four floors and the other other RD, and the three RAs are come under me, right? Well,
Mm.
come under Julia and myself, and Julia has the other RD does have responsibility for her for the first floor RA, um, but I always see them, and we have a weekly meeting to discuss all the issues on the floor and their own issues. So that's the structure. Um, the reporting structure.
Yeah.
Um, what more do you need about that?
Can we go into the reporting structure? How would one go about, how would one effectively use the chain of command if they wanted to like report something in the reporting structure?
Okay. Um, the if I were to report something about, or if I were to yeah to have an issue, or simply just to check with my RAs, I go to them every day and just say, "How are you doing?"
Mm.
And if any one of them has an issue with a particular student, a particular uh, issue, then together we decide how best to handle this. Almost always, the RA student takes it upon herself to fix the situation and report back to me, and that's how it goes. And then uh, she will send a report on to uh, the resident life office, right? And
Mm.
that's how it's done. Uh, so we get, uh, uh, yeah, so that's the reporting structure. That's how, and if there's any discipline to be enforced, it really ultimately
Mm.
um, would come from the office, from the resident experience office,
Mm.
because um, except it was a minor thing for the whole, some
Mhm.
some rowdiness or some disturbing, um, if there's some major disturbing problem, that would be an issue for discipline. Yeah,
Okay.
and I
Yeah.
mean by that, um, um,
Council.
a violation of respect for human beings,
Mm.
of any kind,
Mhm.
you know. So yeah,
Yeah. If I understand correctly, you when there's something does come up, you speak to the RA student, and after talking with that RA, that person will then send a report to resident life
that's
office.
right. Yeah,
Or yeah.
yeah. Mostly that happens. If they need me to, I will certainly uh, either sign on with it or send my own.
Mm.
If either I or the other RA with me says, I think it'd be good for you also to send a note. Will that be fine? Yeah, we
Yeah.
cooperate in that way.
All right.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. And then we kind of talked about what your chain of command looks like, um, what the reporting structure was like. Can we talk a little bit more about um, like how you would like to see people use the chain of command around you, whether that's people next to you, above you, below you, like in the structure?
Um, I think it actually now works very well in the past, that is to say, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. um, Everything was handled by the resident office, residence experience office, and both the RAs on the and the RD were almost out of um, any major decision-making process. It was the resident experience told the RAs what to do, they could say, and almost excluded us from everything, the RDs. Now, the whole situation has changed so that um, the resident office does respect the position of each team of RA, RD in any building. And it's
Mm,
become much more um, a much more collaborative experience. And the responsibility uh, is is comes to us to implement um, any decision that's been made, or we make a decision and we enforce it, and we simply tell the resident experience office, right? So we can make decisions. We can make rules. We tell them, and they have the option, of course, say, hey, no, no, no. But so it's a collaborative thing now.
okay, that's really interesting. So now the process is a lot more collaborative between resident office and the resident experience and the RAs themselves.
Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Resident experience and RARDs. The whole system is more collaborative now than it ever has been. And
Okay.
that's the result specifically of Sam, but before, or it started with Jim Asciuto, who's now the vice president in charge of human rights, but now with Sam, it's just it's a very collaborative um, process.
That's cool. And then, if you don't mind my asking before we move off the topic of chain of command, um, is there someone, say if you as an RD had like a concern or a question, who would you ask like and with regards to that?
Well, I would, if the first person I would ask is Sam. The
Sam.
first
Okay.
person I would go to is Sam. Um, Both because I know her very well, because she invites that.
Okay. There's
Now,
no, and Sam is the only person you go to like a question in the RD role, right? If you had a question related to this.
yeah, I would, uh, only because I know her so well.
Yeah,
It's my specific thing. However, her assistant, Fiona, would be a second person.
that's right. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. They work closely
Yeah.
together. Um, Now, I'm hoping we could speak or talk a little bit about departmental structure. What what do you think the departmental structure of your work as an RD looks like? You know, kind of like your team, like that kind of idea.
Okay. My own Aquinas Hall structure is um, two RDs and three RAs. And we have responsibility for 4 floors of this building. Um, and that is separated into 3 jurisdictions, if you will, if you want to put it in that kind of language, 3 responsibilities. The first floor, there's an RD and an RA.
Mhm.
The second, third, and fourth floor, I am the RD responsible ultimately for that, for the 3 floors, second, third,
Above
and
the
fourth,
ground. Okay.
above the ground floor, right? And I have 2 RAs to help me there. One RA on the second floor and
One for the other two.
one for the other two. Sophia is the RA for the third and fourth.
Oh, she's on this one with you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's our structure. And now the reporting of that we meet weekly for and a half hour, as long as it takes. Um, and then I simply um, make sure I check in with my RAs if they're home when I come in from the brothers every night. I
Mhm.
just want to know what
Every
they're
time.
doing. I want to know um, if there's anything I can help them with. Because
That's
all times
beautiful.
comes up.
And
Yeah.
I just absolutely love that about you, Father Tom. Like, that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to interview with you because I knew how much you cared for your team. So thank
Yeah,
you.
and I can't. I hear these reports about other RDs, and they're doing nothing. I can't. I'm just going nuts because these people, they got in Morocco getting room and board. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah. Um, for when it comes to your departmental structure, what kind of style do you think it has? Like when it comes to different departmental structure styles. Like
well,
as an example. Oh, yeah.
well, Sam has made a structure of it that is collaborative. Now she is definitely is in charge. Sam Alberta,
Yeah.
yeah, no, Connell. Yeah, she's definitely in charge, but uh, she is responsive. I mean, she shares her work out,
Mhm.
and Fiona, of course, second in charge. She does meet regularly with the RAs, right?
Fiona meets regular
Yeah,
Fiona.
with the RAs. So that's the second part. Uh, and But now, I think Sam also meets with them. But so it's not the fact, it's not, the structure is not that Sam takes the RDs and Fiona the RAs because they both work with both of us.
Mm,
So
but
it is that kind of a thing. They talk to each other about how, what they want specifically, RAs to do. With the RDs, we meet with her once a month.
mm,
Yeah, so that's the other part of the structure. Is that answering the question?
it definitely does.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay, okay,
So
okay. Take your
you
time, read that.
Oh, no worries. It's just kind of have backup, in case my
Okay.
recording. So you were talking about different responsibilities they take on when they meet with you guys as RDs versus RAs. So you meet with Sam once a month, all the
Mhm.
RDs,
Yes,
and then Fiona will meet regularly with the RAs.
yes. Although with those RAs, I wouldn't. I think Sam is part of that
Yeah.
meeting with them as well. Although from my time to time, she may not be, but it's part of the.
Yeah.
Yeah, they meet. Uh, I think twice a month anyway. All right.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think that really helps me get like a better idea of like just kind of like the structure as we were talking about
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah,
You kind of obviously it's very easy to understand the team you have here, but then the bigger picture you work regularly with Sam and Fiona as well. These
yeah, yeah,
these
yeah,
RA teams and RD teams and
yeah.
you guys come back together and
Yes. Now, interestingly, some are like Philip Goodman. I just you don't put him down as a person, but sometimes some of the RAs, some of the RDs want to get together. So I never bothered with that stuff. But
Mm,
so I mean, there's some just for social stuff. And I've got enough social.
for the RDs?
Yeah,
Oh,
but that's purely voluntary.
okay, I see.
So you don't need to put that.
No
Yeah.
worries. Um, and then for my final question with regards to this, would you change your departmental structure? Oh, sorry, I don't know what's going on there. Would you change your departmental structure? Yes or no, and why?
I would not change it at all because it's working well.
Mhm.
However, caveat is next, next year we'll have a new RA on the second floor and we'll
Yes.
have to adjust. The team has to come and meet. How do we fit together now that we have a new voice?
Mhm.
Right? So that's a very important question for me always. And then if I'm still alive and here
Mother.
after next year, 26, my whole team is gone. So I will have a whole new thing for 26, 27.
Mm.
So
Oh, a lot of graduates. That's
yeah,
right.
they're all
Yeah.
graduating next year.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
really
gosh. And you've
hard.
known them for a little while now. Oh, I'm
Yeah, yeah.
sorry.
So anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
But it's always the question you ask is For me, I wouldn't change it because it's working for me.
Oh, that's good to know.
And why is it working? You said I am responsible to and for and with my RAs.
Yes,
Period.
I've
Do
I've seen that. Oh,
you have to do?
sorry. Huh?
You have to get something?
No, I think it's it that alarm messed us up, I think. But it's okay. I have the other one here too.
Okay, good.
So make sure we don't get interrupted again by that. Sorry.
All right.
Um,
But yeah. In other words, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
I'm
finish it.
sorry. I know why it went off. Let me fix
No,
that.
you got technical stuff. I never.
Go on, Father. Sorry.
So the key for me in my own, if you will, management structure, loyal to my RAs now, and then we have to be try to be honest as we can, and
Yeah,
that's a growing thing. It has to be good. And
definitely.
I have to say, Sophia is simply just blossomed into the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah,
Mhm. Thank you
that's
for sharing.
yeah. Go ahead.
No, thank you. Sorry for sharing that. I didn't mean to cut you off there. What are some of the behavioral aspects of decision making that go on in your role as RT? Uh, it's a really long question.
Behavioral structure.
Um,
Behavior is
I can
uh,
also
it's
explain that better if you. What are the?
it's it's a matter of making sure I uh, follow through on whatever recommendations we come up with for our weekly meetings.
Hmm.
That I take it, just and I follow that through by uh, from my daily visits with my eyes. Is everything okay? Did you get this? Did you get that?
Hmm.
But
Thank you.
I must say,
Uh,
well, my other RD is very good about keeping the,
Julia, right?
yeah, Julia, she's very good at keeping us abreast as well,
Hmm.
keeping us, on
And
target.
And then I looked it up because just for myself as well, the behavioral decision making is it says it refers to how people actually make choices taking into account psychological emotional factors that can influence their decisions or the study of effective cognitive and social processes which employ people to identify which we use to identify and choose alternatives.
Okay,
So yeah.
well, that particular, and is it called a style? Uh,
I think so.
well, anyway, that
Yeah.
behavioral style, uh, the instance of it came out in one of our meetings. One of my RAs was simply overwhelmed because of the nature of some of our residents.
Because of yeah.
Yeah, the nature of it and the specific is because of their health issues
Mhm.
that my RA was incapable, didn't have the resources to handle. And so what we had to do is to decide how to respond. And of course, first line of response was, of course, to alert housing was placed her that place these students that we are in a situation we cannot handle this stuff, right? And then second, then
So
to
sorry about
follow
that.
through on that. So behavioral. So yeah, so important for the first line of the behavior thing is to make sure that the RAs, we have created a situation where the RAs can voice their um, their difficulties in a protective situation,
Mhm.
our meeting, right?
Yes, exactly. And then thank you for answering that in such great detail. Before we move on to the next question, I want to be honest with you. I have a colloquium I'm supposed to lead in 5 minutes, but people haven't been showing up lately. So it's okay if I step out at 1 and then come back here just to make sure no one is waiting.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so like I totally want to respect your time. So
yeah.
I'll make sure
Oh,
if
you're going downstairs.
really quick just to
Yeah,
check
sure.
sorry. And then we can like table this, I don't want to like what should I call it? I don't want you to
Well, how many questions do I have?
we only have 5 left. So we can probably get through one more and
We can get through it all.
yeah. Let's see. Um so yeah, you kind of answered that one as well. what are the
Well, take your time. I'll just answer all of them so you won't have to come back.
thank you. Behavioral aspects of decision making. Um, are there behavioral aspects that you so on that same in that same vein, right? The question the first one was what are the behavioral aspects of decision making that may occur in your role as RD? Now I want to ask with that same behavioral aspects of decision making in mind, is there a way you approach um or the RAs make decisions or the way you approach your RAs from that space of like understanding that people might have different behavioral styles?
Yes, it's to try from the process is from the beginning, the first meeting, the first time the first time I'm talking to the RAs and every time is to create a situation of openness so that gradually my RAs can feel more confident in being able to talk to me. It doesn't, it's very difficult. And it must be, and I must respect each of their privacies and stuff like that. But that's the key for me to create an environment of compassion or an environment uh, of respect,
Yeah.
right? And from there, that's the key to it, of fostering any kind of behavioral issues that need to be talked about.
Yeah, and fostering any like where anything can be talked about.
Yes,
Um
yeah. But it takes a long time to do that. And the more difficult the issue is, the particular issue, um, the more difficult it is to trust me. Yeah,
okay. And
necessarily
then
so.
and then just kind of on the flip side, have you viewed any behavioral aspects of decision making with the people that work like above you, like the teams that kind of funnel down decisions to the RDs, like maybe Sam, Fiona?
Yes, particularly the specific response to the issue I raised in behavior there, that when RA um, being overwhelmed by the issue of three students who have health problems, uh, talking with Sam, immediately she invoked the response of the community, right? The health organ, health and human services, whatever it's called. Um, uh, counseling department, and so on, and physical, um, the health department, and so on. You know, I don't know what it's called.
I get what you mean, like caps and like all the
Yeah,
different like
yeah.
resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was very right on that situation.
Okay. Thank you. So if you don't mind my clarifying, there was a student or an RA with health problems, or like that.
These were students
These were okay. There were students. Um,
with severe health issues that an RA didn't have that an RA or
didn't know how to
an
handle in that
did
moment.
not we could not handle it. It didn't have the capacity, didn't have the resources to handle it. It was
Okay, that makes sense. That sounds tricky. Um, thank you for sharing that too. I didn't know that. Just it's hard when we see people go through things like that.
yeah,
I'm gonna step out just for a quick
yeah,
minute
take
and
your
then
time.
I'll come right back.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry. There was no one there.
You mean the colloquial?
Yeah, which is I get it's final season. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So we only have the last topic left to cover, which means we only have three questions left. Um, the last topic deals with evidence-based management,
Hmm.
um, which is a framework that helps people, teams, and organizations make better informed decisions. Excuse me, I'm gonna back up here to help them achieve their goals by using intentional experimentation and feedback. Have you seen this in your job as RD?
Uh, hmm. The only I think of is the personal and reporting, personal
Mhm.
meetings, that evidence-based we bring to teaching meetings. The issues that RAs have dealt with uh, during the week, or the long-term ones that the Office of Resident Experience brings, right?
Mhm.
So that's the evidence, and then our evidence is how, one, do we understand what these issues are, what this issue is, a roommate conflict,
Right.
an issue with maintenance, an issue or robbery, for
Oh no,
example.
that's so.
The example of the computer that was taken from you, I mean, the what you call it, the printer that was taken, has it been
Oh
returned?
my gosh, I don't know. And like I heard about that, I was so shocked. Like
Yeah.
who where did they even put it? I don't know.
Yeah, and so what's it, what we have to deal with it, immediately was reported and
Mhm.
reported to public safety or campus safety and then
Also,
to,
yeah, you're right. Sorry. Um,
uh,
I just thought it'd be really hard for them to break in because we do a really good job at locking the doors. So
yeah,
I'm
but
like,
still, if
must have been a student,
somebody
unfortunately.
got the combination, right?
Yeah, they've been shaking those. Yeah, you're right. Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna
Did I
take
answer?
another.
I'm not sure I answered that question.
So I think you did. So,
Okay.
EBM or evidence-based management is a framework that helps organizations make better informed decisions to help them achieve their goals by using intentional experimentation and feedback. Um, so like kind of does this framework exist for you guys? I mean, that is a good example. That's a whatchamacallit, an experience you guys have had.
Yeah, yeah,
And so um I mean, yeah, so I guess the question, forgive me, I know I brought these questions. Um, but what I'm trying to ask, I think, is there a framework in place for this kind of stuff? Like, do you have a framework that helps you make better informed decisions, that uses intentional experimentation or feedback? So it sounds like that example you gave
yes,
me was feedback, right?
yeah.
So let me label that as feedback.
Yeah, feedback and the structure is to report it, to talk to us about it, whoever discovers it, with the RA, RD, and Sam, A, RD,
RA, RD.
and Sam, right? And
Mhm.
public safety, whoever else.
Oh,
If
yes,
it,
whoever, yeah.
if it's a specific, like a stealing thing or a breaking in or, you know, or a inmate situation, any harm on anyone. But the
Yeah.
structure is always the same, the reporting structure that, um, and all of us know that. Right? So
Yeah.
they're drilled on it in their meetings.
Thank you. I mean, that was excellent. My last question is, have you, working in the RD capacity, like looking at the bigger picture, like residence life, have you ever, you guys as a group intentionally experimented, like with different things, with the residence hall events and stuff like that,
Of a reporting structure
or just in general? Because I know your job, like, there's a lot that happens in the halls.
yeah,
Um,
well,
or even on a smaller scale with your team.
I mean, other than what I just said to you, repeat the question, maybe I don't understand it.
So within the context of this topic we're talking about, evidence-based management, have to achieve your goals, have you guys ever tried and like experimenting with different things like ideas or new events or
Oh, we have certainly in our hall. How do we get students? The question was, the experiment that comes from it. How do we get more students involved in our specific activities in a hall, in one room, right?
That's true.
And so uh, we came up with, because we came up with the food crawl
Mm,
as we experimented with it last year.
that's right.
Uh, And it worked. So that's why we had three of them this year,
Yeah,
three or four. So that was a specific thing, a question, how do we get more involved? And it worked
it's
because it
awesome.
created a sense of fun and community, and the people went from floor to floor.
Yes, that's right.
So that was beautiful. And I suppose that's the RD's one sense in a meeting, but I don't remember that. Just put that.
You guys talked about it as RDs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, mm, sorry, I'm just gonna miss. Um, sorry. All right. Well, if there's anything else, you would like to add or you need me to clarify, like I'd be happy to do so, but I know it's almost time.
You will be perfect. There's
Thank you
nothing
so
for me
much,
to
Father
say.
Expo. Yeah, let me. I'm just gonna um, call it end our recording here.